It's over. And this time, there's no going back. Prince William has reached the point of no return, and insiders say the quiet, patient man who once stayed silent in the face of family drama is gone for good. For years, royal watchers speculated about reconciliation, hoping William and Harry might one day mend their fractured bond. But the reality inside palace walls is very different. William has drawn a hard line, and this time, it's not just about personal grudges, it's about the future of the crown itself. The monarchy is at stake, and William is prepared to do whatever it takes to protect it, even if that means leaving his brother behind. What drove him to this point? The answer lies in a series of public scandals that humiliated the royal family on a global scale. From the Netflix docu-series that turned private struggles into entertainment, to Meghan and Harry's lucrative yet controversial Spotify deal, to Oprah's interview that painted Buckingham Palace as cold and uncaring, each moment piled more pressure on the monarchy. And then came Spare, Harry's tell-all memoir that didn't just reveal family secrets, but painted William and Kate in a devastating light, fueling headlines and public debate for months. For William, this wasn't just drama. It was betrayal played out on the world stage, and now the heir to the throne has had enough. Sources close to the palace describe William's vision for the monarchy as sharp, ruthless, and unapologetic. He's no longer willing to play the waiting game or offer olive branches that will only be burned. This isn't about two brothers bickering, this is about survival. And as William takes his boldest stand yet, the big question becomes clear. Has he just saved the monarchy from collapse, or has he destroyed his family forever? But what exactly pushed William past the point of no return? That's where the scandals come in. Prince William may be known for his composure, but even the future king has limits, and insiders say those limits were pushed one scandal too many. The cracks began with the Netflix documentary that turned private family moments into global entertainment, exposing the monarchy's most intimate struggles for the world to dissect. Then came the highly publicized Spotify deal, which ended in embarrassment and criticism, casting doubt on Harry and Meghan's credibility. But it was Oprah's bombshell interview that shook Buckingham Palace like an earthquake, sending shockwaves across the globe and forcing the royals to answer questions about loyalty, family, and tradition. By the time Harry's explosive memoir Spare hit the shelves, the damage was undeniable. Each scandal wasn't just a headline, it was a dagger aimed at the monarchy's heart. For William, this was never just about bad press, it was about betrayal. His own brother had chosen to profit from private struggles, turning personal pain into lucrative contracts and global spectacle. Oprah's interview painted the palace as heartless, Spare cast William as an angry, bitter man trapped in duty, and Kate, beloved by the public, was dragged into the spotlight with accusations she never deserved. To William, these weren't harmless revelations. They were attacks that undermined both the family and the institution they had sworn to uphold. The silence he had once chosen as protection now felt like weakness. That's why William reached a breaking point. After years of biting his tongue, enduring criticism, and hoping things would calm down, he realized the monarchy could no longer afford patience. The crown's image was under fire, and his brother was the one lighting the match. Enough was enough. William's decision to finally act wasn't born out of anger alone. It was born out of duty to the crown, and a realization that the institution he would one day lead could not survive endless scandals without decisive action. The silence was over, and William was ready to fight for the monarchy's future. But here's the twist. William's anger didn't actually start with Oprah or Spare. The very first fracture began much earlier, at Harry and Meghan's wedding. The royal wedding of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle was celebrated worldwide as a moment of unity and modern love. Millions tuned in to watch the pageantry, the glamour, and the symbolism of a new chapter for the monarchy. But while the public saw history in the making, Prince William noticed something that shook him deeply. As Meghan and Harry walked past Queen Elizabeth, there was no bow, no curtsy, no pause of acknowledgement. To the average viewer, it might have seemed like a small oversight in the excitement of the moment. But for William, raised in a world where tradition is everything, it was a blaring alarm bell. In the royal family, gestures of respect aren't optional, they are sacred. A bow or curtsy to the monarch isn't just about politeness, it's a statement of loyalty to the crown, to centuries of duty and continuity. Meghan and Harry's decision not to stop wasn't a casual mistake. The wedding had been rehearsed in meticulous detail down to the second. They knew the protocol, they knew the expectation, and still, the curtsy never came. To William, that moment wasn't about nerves, it was a message. A quiet but undeniable declaration that Meghan wasn't going to play by the monarchy's rules. For William, it was betrayal in its purest form. On a day meant to celebrate family unity and the future of the royal institution, his own brother stood silently beside his new bride as tradition was brushed aside. That single skipped gesture became, in William's mind, the first domino to fall. The moment that foreshadowed years of defiance, scandal, and rebellion. Looking back, the curtsy that never happened wasn't just a breach of etiquette. It was the opening act of a royal rift that would grow into one of the most painful family divides in modern history. And the truth is, that skipped curtsy was just the beginning of a much bigger pattern Meghan would follow. From the very beginning, Meghan Markle's actions sent shockwaves through the palace. One of the earliest red flags came before her wedding, when she declined to show her gown to Queen Elizabeth, a tradition followed by every royal bride before her, including Princess Diana and Kate Middleton. To the outside world, this may have looked like a small detail, something insignificant. But inside Buckingham Palace, it was viewed as an unmistakable breach of trust. The gesture wasn't about fashion, it was about respect and continuity. By refusing, Meghan set herself apart, signaling that she wasn't here to bend to the monarchy's customs. The defiance didn't stop there. Years later, during Oprah Winfrey's headline-making interview, Meghan mocked the very idea of curtsying to the Queen, recounting the moment with laughter. The clip went viral, replayed across television and social media as audiences watched royal tradition turned into comedy. And sitting right beside her, Harry didn't intervene, didn't defend, didn't even correct the tone. For Prince William, watching this unfold wasn't just painful, it was humiliating. A private gesture meant to honor the crown had been reduced to a global punchline, and his own brother had allowed it to happen. To William, these weren't innocent mistakes or cultural misunderstandings. They were deliberate signals that Meghan wasn't willing to play by the rules, and that Harry wasn't going to stop her. Each moment, the hidden dress, the mocked curtsy, the disregard for tradition, built a pattern that William couldn't ignore. It wasn't just about Meghan's independence, it was about the monarchy's authority being undermined, piece by piece. And for the heir to the throne, those acts of defiance weren't simply disrespectful, they were dangerous. And that's why insiders say William began pushing for something drastic, private meetings to decide Harry's fate. Tucked away in the Scottish Highlands, Balmoral Castle has long been seen as the royal family's private sanctuary. But behind those stone walls, it is also the setting for some of the monarchy's most defining moments. Decisions that shape the crown but never reach the public record. Now, whispers inside palace corridors suggest that another of those moments is approaching. A private summit has been quietly penciled in, one so exclusive that only 4 figures will be in the room. King Charles, Queen Camilla, Prince William, and Catherine, Princess of Wales. No aides, no advisors, no leaks. Just a firelit chamber and raw, unfiltered conversations about the monarchy's future. At the very top of the agenda is Prince Harry. The question hanging in the air is no longer whether reconciliation is possible, but whether the monarchy can survive with Harry and Meghan still tethered to it. William, who has endured years of headlines and watched the crown's reputation bruised by scandal, has made his stance brutally clear. He is done with half measures, done with waiting to see if the Sussexes will step back from the spotlight. To him, the monarchy doesn't have the luxury of, let's wait and see. The damage has already been done, and in his eyes, it's irreversible. That's why William is pushing for what insiders describe as a clean break. No titles to lend Harry and Meghan royal weight. No privileges to keep them tethered to the palace. No illusions that they can operate as half-in, half-out royals while pursuing commercial ventures in California. It's a ruthless vision, but one William believes is necessary. To him, this is no longer just a family crisis. It's a fight for the crown's credibility. And the fact that these conversations are happening at Balmoral, the very estate where royal history has been written time and time again, shows just how serious this moment truly is. But while William sharpens his vision, one person is quietly urging caution: Kate. For more than a decade, Catherine, Princess of Wales, has been the calm at the center of the royal storm. She has always been the quiet voice of reason, the one smoothing tensions behind closed doors and reminding William that, at the end of the day, family bonds still matter. Insiders say that for years, Kate urged William to show patience with Harry, to leave the door cracked open just in case reconciliation was possible. Her instinct has always been to protect not just the crown, but the fragile ties that hold the brothers together. But now, even Kate is torn. She understands what William has been saying all along: Harry never comes alone. Where Harry goes, Meghan goes, and Meghan's influence is something William will never accept. The endless headlines, the mocking of tradition, the public revelations that turned family life into global entertainment, all of it convinces William that Meghan isn't just an outsider, she's a permanent threat to the monarchy's stability. And Kate, who once pleaded for compromise, now finds herself confronting the painful reality that the brothers may never reconcile as long as Meghan is part of the picture. Her heart aches at the thought of shutting the door forever, of William and Harry never finding their way back to the bond they once shared. But her head knows her husband is right. The stakes are higher than personal feelings. This is no longer just about family dinners or strained holidays. It's about the survival of the monarchy in the modern era. And if protecting the crown means supporting William's harshest decision yet, then even Kate, the eternal peacemaker, may have no choice but to step back and let history take its course. And if even Kate has stepped back, then Charles's next move becomes critical. For years, King Charles was seen as the softer touch, the father who, despite everything, still wanted to keep the door open for Harry. He was the one figure Harry might have believed would protect him, a lifeline to the family he had left behind. But the crown changes people, and insiders say that once Charles ascended to the throne, the weight of responsibility transformed his perspective. The king now recognizes what William has been arguing all along. The monarchy cannot afford to be dragged through endless waves of scandal. Harry's unpredictability, combined with Meghan's influence, has become too heavy a risk for an institution built on tradition, order, and stability. By quietly aligning himself with William, Charles is sending the most powerful signal yet, that even paternal love cannot outweigh the survival of the monarchy. It's a devastating shift for Harry, who for years may have clung to the hope that his father would temper William's ruthlessness. Instead, the king is leaning into it, reinforcing his heir's vision for a tighter, scandal-proof monarchy. For Harry, this isn't just a political setback, it's personal. The one man he believed would defend him has now stepped to William's side, leaving him more isolated from the family and the crown than ever before. And this is where William's ruthless three-step plan comes into play. Behind palace walls, insiders describe William's vision for the monarchy with three ruthless words: strip, freeze, erase. Strip Harry and Meghan of their royal titles, freeze any remaining privileges that tie them to the crown, and erase the illusion that they can still operate as half-in, half-out royals. For William, the contradictions have become impossible to ignore. Harry demands privacy but signs lucrative Netflix deals. Meghan criticizes the monarchy's traditions while cashing in on her Duchess title to secure influence in Hollywood. To William, it's not just hypocrisy. It's a dangerous game that threatens the credibility of the institution he will one day inherit. Timing, too, is on William's side. Meghan's podcast deal with Spotify has already been cut, and her high-profile Netflix projects face increasing scrutiny and instability. Without the royal sheen, their brand begins to unravel. William knows this. He believes that by severing the last official ties between Harry, Meghan, and the crown, their carefully built empire in California will collapse under its own weight. It's a cold, calculated move, but one he views as essential, protecting the monarchy by removing the very pair he sees as its greatest threat. But what happens when the titles are gone? The fallout could be brutal, not just in London, but in Hollywood too. The moment those royal titles are stripped away, everything changes. The phone calls that once came from producers, corporations, and high-profile contacts suddenly stop. Invitations to exclusive events dry up. Endorsement deals that once relied on the sparkle of royal branding begin to vanish. Without the prestige of being the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Harry and Meghan are no longer viewed as unique players in Hollywood. They become just another celebrity couple in a city overflowing with famous faces. In the cutthroat world of entertainment, relevance is currency, and without the crown connection, their influence is bound to fade fast. For Meghan, losing the Duchess title isn't just symbolic, it's the unraveling of her carefully constructed public identity. Her brand, built on the power of royal association, risks collapse. And for Harry, the blow is even more personal. Without Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, he risks fading into the background, remembered only as Princess Diana's son, rather than as a global figure in his own right. Stripped of titles, frozen out of the institution, and erased from the royal narrative, Harry and Meghan could find themselves facing a harsh reality. Exile not only from the monarchy, but from the world stage they once dominated. And that leads us to the heartbreaking reality, the tragic end of two brothers who once stood united. The image is etched into history. Two boys, William and Harry, walking shoulder to shoulder behind Princess Diana's coffin, united in grief and purpose. That moment symbolized a bond that seemed unbreakable, the shared weight of loss binding the brothers together for life. But decades later, that unity has shattered. William, hardened by duty and the weight of the crown, now marches toward kingship with icy clarity. Harry, once the beloved spare, drifts further into obscurity, clinging to titles that may soon be stripped away. The contrast is devastating. One brother destined to lead an ancient institution, the other left struggling to define himself outside of it. And here lies William's ultimate move. This isn't just about cutting ties, it's about rewriting the narrative of history itself. William doesn't want Harry remembered as the rebel who shook the monarchy. He wants him remembered as the brother who lost everything. By drawing a brutal line, William ensures that when the story of the crown is told, Harry is not the tragic hero, but the cautionary tale. It's a heartbreaking conclusion, one that redefines the legacy of Diana's sons and cements the crown as stronger without them. Which brings us to the final haunting question. What does this mean for the monarchy and for the brothers themselves? William has made his choice. Kate has stepped back. Charles has aligned with him. And Harry, he's running out of time. The decision is clear. Exile, permanent and irreversible. But here's the question. Did William just save the monarchy, or did he destroy his family forever? Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and drop a like if you enjoyed the video. It really helps the channel grow and makes sure you never miss the next upload.